Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the Florida Buzz YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing a review on the Snap-on CT861. So this is actually their newest release to the lineup. The only reason why I even got this guy is actually still a mystery to me because last time I checked, when they officially added these to the website about a week and a half ago, these were on national back order till... So there's three different color options. You've got the high vis, the green, and the red. The red's on national back order till June 15th. The green and the high vis are on back order until pretty much the end of the month, maybe even the first week of July, because sometimes they actually get pushed back even further. So yeah, when my Snap-on guy pulled up today and he handed me this guy, I was blown away. Couldn't believe it. I almost thought it was a mix-up. So yeah, so anyways guys, this is mine. I officially bought it. It's not a demo. I ended up giving them back the CT761. I wasn't a big fan of it power-wise. Comparing it to my stubby, which I also brought back home for a comparison, it just really wasn't that impressive. Another thing I really didn't like about it was if you notice how on this one, when you hit the trigger, the light stays on. When you're working in really dark areas, this one does the same thing. That's what I'm used to. So but again, in my other video, I also explained if you have a really good trigger finger or you just get used to the trigger over time, if you just barely crack that trigger, you can actually hold the light on. But again, that is kind of a nuisance when they can just put a timer delay in it like this one is now. So I guess I'll go over the pros real fast and then I'll go over the cons. The first pro I would say is they got rid of all that extra rubber that runs around the top of the CT761. I really wish I would have just kept my mouth shut and held on to the 761 for another week, just to bring it home and do an actual side-by-side comparison between that one and this one. But honestly guys, with it sitting in my toolbox, it's just so hard not to pick it up and start using it, especially because that one has a boot on it. And every time I touched that thing, it was getting covered in grease, and I was afraid I was going to get it so dirty, he was going to inevitably end up making me buy it. Yeah, so anyways, they got rid of all that extra rubber, which I like. I prefer having the nice green plastic exposed rather than the rubber. If you noticed, they went with pretty much the same design that's on like the new brushless 3/8 ratchet. I'm trying to think of the part number. I believe it's the Snap-on CTR861, which was the first 14.4 model tool to actually go brushless. Was the new CT861. Yeah, I believe it's the 861 is the new 3/8 normal length brushless ratchet. And also you can always tell the new models from the old models. If you can't tell by the body, all the new ones are going to say brushless on them now. So it still has the same convenient rocker trigger, which I've actually grown to love. Some guys are actually starting to complain about a bit of a delay into the trigger, but to be honest with you, I think those guys are just not used to the newer brushless motors, because a lot of Snap-on diehard fans, they stick with nothing but Snap-on. It's going to be something to get used to. But in my honest opinion, it's really not that big of a deal. It's literally, a tenth of a second of a delay. And if you compare it to other brands like Milwaukee, it's literally the same delay. There's no difference in delays in these triggers. But again, if you compare it to the CT761, you're going to notice it, because that one was just instantaneous power as soon as you hit the trigger. This one, like I said, again, it's very, very minimal, but there is a delay in the trigger. So I did want to bring that up because I hear in the few videos I can find on this guy since the release, that seems to be a big complaint from a lot of guys going from the 761 to the 861. Another thing I want to say that I really like about it is the power. So this is actually the first Snap-on 14.4 impact I've held that right off the bat, going right up to a car with a fresh battery. I don't know about with a half-dead battery or a battery in the red, but in the green, when I slapped this battery in right off the truck, this thing was breaking loose lug nuts just like this guy does. And I'm going to be honest with you, last week my CT761, I was putting it up against this guy, and there was bolts that this guy was breaking loose that one wasn't. Now another pro is definitely the thinness of the body. You see how much thinner this one is than the stubby. Mind you, there is a boot on this one, so you got to account for that. But again, this thing is a fat guy. But it is a hell of a lot stubbier. So when you're getting behind like calipers and stuff, I have a feeling the back of this is gonna get pretty scratched up pretty quick, just from trying to scoop it into places where you know, it's just inevitably a little too big, where this one will fit all day long. Another thing that I'm waiting for that I just don't know if they're gonna release is a boot. Because again, see how this one has the boot on it? Guys, I swear, ever since I bought an Impact and put a boot on it for the first time, after 2 years of physical abuse, I mean, when I take the boots off any Impact I own, they damn near are brand new, except for anywhere where the boot actually doesn't cover. Like for instance, look at the front of this guy. You see those nice little chip marks and stuff like that, and those tiny little scuffs right there? That is literally the only damage on this gun, besides maybe down here, again, a place where there is no boot. Any place where there is a boot, it is well protected, and it cushions the blow, and there's literally no marks underneath that thing. Like, for instance, with Milwaukee, I know I'm getting a little off topic, but the white lettering is usually the first thing to go. If I pull that boot off like I did last week when I cleaned it, I just went underneath and I think I spilled some oil on it or something, and it was like underneath the boot. That thing is literally a brand new tool. And the same goes for my mid torque. Same thing goes for my high, what do they call that thing? The high torque, the Milwaukee M18 high torque. Both of those have boots on them as well, and yeah, no problems. The only two Milwaukees I don't have with boots are my new high-speed ratchets, and they're both pretty beat up, to be honest, because again, this plastic scratch is pretty easy. But if there was rubber up here, like on the CT761, without a boot, that rubber is going to definitely take a lot more damage and fall apart a lot more quickly than it would this hard plastic. Again, you know, this will get scuffed up, but this isn't going to tear apart and look like crap in a month. So moving back to the power, I would say in forward, I believe Snap-on's rating is 152 foot-pounds or something like that. I would agree. I would say that's a fair, I would agree that that's a fair rating for it. I would say it's around there on tightening power. Breakaway torque is definitely a lot higher. If I had to put a guess to it, I would say I would rate this thing for about 225. I haven't actually like bench tested it. I've only had it 2 days. I got it Thursday, and this is Saturday night now. I've been messing with it a little bit around the house on like motors and stuff, but I would give it a rating of about 225 breakaway, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, somewhere in there. Whereas the CT761, I know there's videos out there of, you know, some of the bigger channels, you know, claiming that it'll break loose 185 foot-pounds. They might have a special one, I don't know, because there's no way the CT761 I had was breaking loose 185 foot-pounds. I mean, maybe if I sat there for an hour beating the hell out of a bolt, it might eventually break loose, but it wasn't even, the CT761 I had wasn't even breaking loose 200 foot-pound torque, or I'm sorry, not 200, about 150 foot-pound torque lug nuts. It wouldn't even break them loose. So anyways, moving forward, let's move on to the cons. The first con, again, I would say is the length of it. It's definitely pretty long. There's not many cons, but this is the next con I'm going to bring up. I noticed that when I put it down, the CT761 is the same way. The weight is so well balanced throughout the tool that when you start leaving sockets, especially like 3/8 wobble sockets on the end of it, I noticed it likes to tip over and kind of nosedive, whereas the stubby has enough weight in the base of it. They put, you know, just because of how much shorter it is, the weight's more leveled and proportioned over the battery, and plus the battery base is so much wider that I can literally put probably a 3-inch extension with a wobble socket on it, lay this thing down, and it won't fall over. Whereas if I literally put a deep impact 3/8 socket on here, especially a heavy one, maybe like a 22 or a 24 or a 21 or probably even a 19, it'll literally just fall right over. But there is a fix for that, and honestly the main reason why I'm switching over to the Snap-on 14.4 stuff are those mag boots that they sell. The part number is CTL dash mag, and they go on, they slip on from the side, and after that you have a gigantic magnet on the bottom of it. And when you're working on a car, you can literally stick it wherever a magnet will grab. So I'm going to be a huge fan of that. I'm just waiting for them to come in. Again, their system's still pretty messed up from everything that's been going on. About 2 weeks ago, mid-March, their website was down for over a week, or just about a week. It wasn't over a week, but I remember when their website came back up, these actually weren't even listed on there anymore. And then out of nowhere, they popped up like 3 days after that. And another thing that kind of upset me was they upped the price. So when these were initially released, they were selling for anywhere from $280 to $300. These are now listed at $330, and because they're a new release, my Snap-on guy said he literally couldn't give me a break on this thing at all. It almost makes me wish I kind of would have waited for them to, flood the market a little more, because again, I wasn't planning on this thing to show up till, mid-June, early July, somewhere in there. So like I said, again, the fact that it even showed up is kind of mind-blowing. I'm kind of glad it did, because I'm able to make a video for you guys, and give you the full rundown on what I think of it so far and what it looks like, and how it handles, how the trigger reacts, and all that good stuff. Again, guys, it is pretty comparable to the CT761, just with a little bit more power. I am definitely glad though that I went with this model instead, because in my experience, the brushless motors just last longer. So unless I run this thing over or use it as a hammer improperly, this thing isn't going to break anytime soon. Well, I take that back. I'm not too familiar with Snap-on's brushless motors, but usually the rule of thumb is if you go brushless, you'll get a lot more life out of it. And also another thing I can't attest to yet, but that I know from my experience with Milwaukee, brushless motors also perform less abuse on the batteries. So I should technically get more runtime out of this tool now as well. Because for instance, this is the new April calendar, I believe. Let me see if I can find a date on this. Oh, I'm sorry, so this is actually March. So that ratchet right there, this is actually the Brute, and that's actually the Brute. This is actually the extended, what the Snap-on community calls the Brute. The part number is it's CTR761W1. I actually had the option to get this when I bought mine 2 weeks ago, but I ended up going with the 767 model, mainly because it was, there was just more options color-wise. It had a faster spin rate, because as we're starting to learn, or as I'm starting to learn, you can either take higher torque output with a lower run speed on ratchets, or you can take a higher run speed and lower torque output. And personally, after using the Milwaukee high speeds for so long, I'll take 270 free running RPMs with 40 foot-pounds of torque versus 70 foot-pounds of torque and 175 of a run speed like this guy. I actually haven't held one of these yet. I mean, I tell you, I've held one. I haven't actually popped the battery into one and used one yet. I'm sure for some guys this is the only thing they'll work with, but in my opinion, 175 is a little low. If they could have brought this up to maybe like 225 run speed, I probably would have went with this guy instead. But anyways, guys, what I was getting at is the 767 the 767 I have. It's a brush motor, because the new brushless long neck hasn't been released yet, and honestly, guys, that thing chews through batteries. If I'm doing a motor all day long, like if I'm doing one consistent job all day long with that in my hand, like for instance, like a motor job, I'll chew through 2 batteries in one day, or at least a battery and almost another battery, like another half runtime on a battery. But for sure, I'm going through 1 battery a day if I'm using mine consistently. But again, I love the tool. I just picked up a spare battery actually on Thursday, so no complaints there. If we go through their catalog a little further, they got some deals on some wrenches, which I wasn't too interested in. They got a whole bunch of random stuff, compression gauge. I believe this is the master fuel gauge kit, or it could be the oil pressure kit. They got a welding helmet. This is, let's see, number G is a battery maintainer. They got some safety glasses, some balancing, some wheel balancing kits, like those big tools. They got a new promo for, I guess they're trying to brag about their boxes, but honestly, I don't know why they're bragging about them, because it's kind of pathetic. I talked to my Snap-on guy about 3 weeks ago. If you order any cart as of right now, it's 6 weeks out before they're even going to start putting it together. Aside from that, this is pretty cool. So that's actually my box right there. I have a 68 Epic. They're now selling the lockers, like they're pushing those a little bit harder. But what really caught my eye is actually this like half a bay add-on with the top half a bay add-on. I actually like that. I might end up going with that instead of adding a locker, because I'm kind of running out of storage. And my main goal at first was to honestly buy a cart, but when my Snap-on guy told me how long and how far out it is to even get one, going in the process of building it, I started looking in the used market. So as of right now, if I can't find one in the used market and they run a deal on maybe lockers for the Epic or these side cabinets maybe as a double pair, I might end up just going that route. Let's see what else they got. So yeah, this is just more on the carts, the split top, which I personally recommend. I've had one of these in the past. It had a real bad rusting issue in here. I bought it used, so I ended up just sanding it, cleaning it up, painting it, and selling it. But honestly, guys, after having one of these, I'll never go back to the flip tops. I think these are way more versatile. I think they're way easier to work with. The only thing I don't like about them is when you close the tops together and lock it down, I feel like if you put a pry bar in between the two drawers, you could break it open really easily. That's my only complaint. Aside from that, they got a deal going on with drill bits right now. My Snap-on guy said that he can't get any at the moment. I think they're all on back order. I mean, there might be a few sets floating around, but on my guy's truck, the only set he had was for warranty. They got the new Gobber length, and then they have the Cobalt Thunder bits, which aren't really new. They've had those a while. Those are actually a really badass set. If I would have known about those before I bought my Matco stepper bits, I probably would have bought those instead, even though the stepper bits are cheaper. The ones I have, honestly, guys, my biggest complaint with them is unless you have a starter hole started and carved, which I usually start carving with my Snap-on bits, they don't really bite that well, especially on harder steel, like hardened steel, like exhaust bolts and stuff like that. These would probably go right through it like butter. In my experience, the 8 size bit I have, and whichever one else I have, they do a pretty damn good job. So aside from that, they got some stuff down here. Again, oh, I guess that's brushless. Yeah, so they got the drill in brushless, I believe. Yeah, micro lithium cordless brushless drill, 1 battery, $383. So they got the drill now in brushless. They have the this is the 18 volt Monster Lithium. That's their new brushless drill. Well, actually, no, that one just says cordless. So yeah, I guess the 18 volt drill isn't brushless yet. And then they have this cool little light. Or no, that is a drill. That's an air drill, though. Kind of looked like a flashlight. They have these new pry bars they came out with recently. I actually bought one. I have it at the shop. I also have the Mac one, which I believe they got their original idea to start making theirs from. I have both of them, and honestly, I prefer the Mac unless I start putting force on it, because theirs is bigger and thicker steel, I would say. So I only use that one when the Mac one starts bending on me. So here's the back page. This is also a real important thing that I've been looking at, because I actually just ordered the right here. It's the Snap-on Advanced Multimeter True APP. Right now it's actually on sale for $625, which is awesome, because when I ordered it, it was $695, no deals, and my Snap-on guy offered me $100 off. So yeah, that's what I went ahead and ordered. When that comes in, I'll do a video on that. So aside from that, guys, I mean, that's pretty much it. I'll probably take these out in the field, in the next couple days, and give you guys, like a field test comparison. But like I said, guys, with the work I've done in the shop so far, they're pretty well matched, aside from the size difference. Like I said, this one's fatter, this one's longer, but this one's shorter and this one's skinnier. So it's really all personal preference. But I really do prefer these batteries to these batteries, because I have broken quite a few of these. And it's kind of sad, because with Milwaukee, if you break this casing, which I've never seen one actually get broken, but let's say you did break it, you can buy a replacement casing for it. Whereas Milwaukee, I had 2 batteries where the casings broke. I sent them in, and they just they didn't want to warranty one of them. And I explained to them, like, look, well, if you don't want to warranty it, send it back to me. I'll fix it somehow. And they didn't even want to do that. They ended up keeping it. I've been fighting with them for like 8 months on it. And that's where I'm starting to kind of lose respect for Milwaukee, because their warranty is starting to go to crap, in my opinion. And I think it has a lot to do with just how well their items are selling these days. There's like a huge tidal wave of people, swearing by Milwaukee, bragging about Milwaukee, buying everything that they make, no matter what it is or what it does. They'll just buy it just because it's new and cool. And Milwaukee's lining their pockets with money, man. And when that tends to happen, you would think normally their customer service would go up. I mean, Snap-on's customer service, the little bit I've dealt with them, is great. I've never had a problem out of Snap-on's customer service. Where Milwaukee's customer service, they're starting to kind of close the door in people's faces, and it's really upsetting. So yeah, give you an example. If that Milwaukee breaks, right, you're going to send that in. Let's say it's out of warranty. You're either going to have to pay for the shipping to get it back, or pay full retail for them to send you a new one. If anything, and I mean anything, happens to this gun in the next 10 years until they discontinue it, if I send this in and it's out of warranty, and most likely it probably will be, because they only offer a 1-year warranty, they'll do what's called a flat rate on it. And what the flat rate fee is you pay a flat rate fee of $120 $25 or $135, somewhere in there. They send you an entirely brand new tool. They keep your old one as a core, and you're good to go. In my opinion, guys, that's well worth it. Milwaukee doesn't do that. Not a lot of companies do that. And I think that's where, Snap-on kind of, steps up and says, hey, look, we get the tools are going to get beat to hell in a mechanic shop or a body shop or wherever they're at. If you're going to spend your money with us, we're going to take care of you the best we can. And in my opinion, that's pretty legit. You know what I mean? Like I said, again, if you break this tool in any way, shape, or form, and it's out of warranty, at most you're going to pay is under $150. This is the new brushless series, so I don't know. Maybe they're going to up the fee. Maybe this is $140 if you send it in. But the bottom line is, this is a $330 impact if you pay full price for it, like I did, with no promos or anything like that. I'm sure in 6, 7, 8 months from now there'll be a ton of promos on these. But for now, it's $330, no questions, or no breaks, no gimmicks, and plus tax. So after tax, this gun's really like $360, and then you don't even get a battery. That's a bare tool. The gun with the battery right now, I believe, is $429 or something like that. I got a gun and a battery, and I believe it was like $414. So again, I almost paid full retail. The only thing I got a break on was the battery. He gave me 25% off because the batteries did actually go up a little bit. These used to be 100 even. Now they're 110. I've noticed that snooping around on Snap-on's website. Their prices have gone up about 10%. Like for instance, their flex head ratchets, like their most common one, I'll just name off. They're 3/8, 13 inch, I believe. It's like 12 and something change inches. Comfort grip flex head. I want to say the part number is like the FHLF80A. That used to be a $150 ratchet. That's now $165. So there's a $15 markup. I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, I could name something off. This voltage meter, not this model, but the model above it, which is the exact same model. It's literally the same exact part number, which is EEDM 596FK. After that, it's CRT for cert, because it comes with a certification, or it might be APP after that part number too. It's either -APP or -CRT. But the bottom line is the same exact voltage meter, comes with the same exact accessories. The only difference is it comes with the Cat 4 or Cat 3 rated certificate from Snap-on that they tested it and it passed their test, or whatever you want to call it. And it's like an additional like $150. So for instance, this one is normally $695. The certified model is $805 or $825. So it's up there. And at first I thought the difference was this one you just get the bare meter, and that one actually came with the bag and the kit. But I went through the pictures on the site, and that's where I noticed that. And that's another thing I wanted to add into this video. I'll also bring it up again in the review I do on this scan tool, on this DVOM or voltage meter, whatever you want to call it. But honestly, guys, this is a phenomenal meter for the price right now. I would hop on it. Like I said, again, they're on sale, $625. My Snap-on guy already promised me $100 off, so I'm getting it a little bit under this. But yeah, guys, if you're looking for a really good meter and you want all the bells and whistles, this blows a Fluke 88 out the water. You know what I mean? I mean, the tolerances are very comparable. I've done a few comparisons back to back in the shop with other guys. I got another buddy that actually has this meter. He absolutely loves it. The feature on the phone with the Bluetooth capabilities, I mean, it's just phenomenal. There's plenty of info out it through Snap-on. They do demo videos on it. But again, guys, when mine comes in, I'll definitely do a review on it. I'll go over all the features, see if I can go a little bit more in depth than Snap-on, give you pros and cons, see how I like the app. But yeah, guys, aside from that, let me see if I can give you one more rundown of this guy. Give you like a little slow-mo tour before I cut this video out. But yeah, that's it. I love it, guys. It's a really good impact. It's really good looking. Again, I like how they got rid of all the plastic. And yeah, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment. I'll get back to you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Have a good weekend, guys.